My first big hero was Joseph Levine and Joseph Hoffman and Cortot, Rubinstein, Horowitz, like all of the big great pianists, Rachmaninoff. And my teacher. My teacher was actually probably one of the greatest pianists that ever lived. He didn't have a big career, but he was an incredible pianist and musician. And he was the type of pianist that he was a Chopin specialist, and every time he played, people would just go, well, that's the way it goes. Because when you heard it, it was so convincing. Rubinstein had heard him play. My teacher was Mark Jablonski, another Canadian, and Rubinstein had heard him play in his early 20s, and he commented after hearing Jablonski play these mazurkas, and of course Rubinstein plays mazurkas fantastically. He said, I don't think I ever need to play another one. Like he was horrified in one way, like pleased as he could be, but horrified that this young fellow just played the socks off them. And of course, you'd hear, as I said, you hear him play, and you'd just go, that's the way it goes. It was so natural and convincing. I'd say what they had in common was is that they had their personality. They had the ability to be themselves and be honest with the music. So they're being honest with themselves as well in what they have to say. Also, all of those pianists had not only the individuality of their expression and what they say, but they also had an individuality of sound, which is very important. They all had their own special sound and texture. Like if you put on a record of Rachmaninoff, or you heard Rachmaninoff play, or Hoffman, or Levine, or Rubinstein, or Rachmaninoff, or Solomon, any of these great artists, you would know immediately who you were listening to. Within a couple of measures, you would know who that person was. Some people consider that not a good thing because they think it takes away from the composer, but in any of my dealings with composers and playing their music, they're always ecstatic that you do something with it and that you find something in the music that they didn't even realize was there in the first place, which is an interesting point right there. For me, sound starts in your mind and your imagination. And it's sort of somewhere between your heart and your ear. That's sort of where it starts and it comes to. And then, truthfully, I don't really think about doing that when I play. It just happens to come out that way. And I would say, when I think of those pianists and artists, like what I admired about them and what made them my heroes was the natural relationship they had with their instrument as well. That there was nothing forced or contorted. Now, out of all of the pianists that I mentioned, Horowitz would probably be the one that was like the most tight and the most tense. But all of the other ones had an incredible freedom at the instrument that most of the time you didn't even realize they were actually playing it. And when you heard it, it was just such an immense variety of sound and color and texture. And as you said, like, everyone will play an instrument differently, but it's the same sensitivity that you pick up on in a handshake with someone.